with the same data set. Okay, so we have discussed yesterday for the variables up to here, I guess. So we're gonna continue for the remaining variables, okay? So we finish age unit and age up to there. So we didn't do this one, I guess, right? So okay, so we're gonna do these ones because these two we have to take it from the exposure data set. So we are not going to do like that's why we didn't do yesterday. So we're gonna do today for this one. So we have the sex variable as well as the race variables. So we're gonna derive those one first. Okay, so we have investigation and the investigator ID and investigator name. So we're gonna continue with this one. Okay, so we're gonna decide first with the race. Okay. For the variable race, we have to map it to our ETH. Okay, the ETH variable from the raw data set. Let's take this one. Okay, so it is annotation of CRF. So okay, so we're gonna get confirmed with the CDM variable, which is ETH from the raw data set. So we're gonna take the same thing and we map that one. Okay, so the race, open the raw data set. Okay, so we have only one variable here, and there is another one which is other. So we the extra information, actually this is extra information, so we will be we will be mapped in the supplementary domain. So we are going to do only with this one ETH. Okay, let's check this is in a character format. So we take this one. So this is in character format. Okay, let me open the implementation guideline. Okay, so we have Okay, for the race variable, there is a control terminology, which is RACE. So let me open that control terminology. Okay, so here, race. Okay, so here this. So in the reported value, in the raw value, whatever you get the small letters, so we should have to represent submission in the capital letters, uppercase format. Okay. So for that reason, we need to change it to uppercase format, because in the raw data we have it only one value, which is Asian for all the subjects except the one in the SY subject ID, which is other, but that one is okay. So right now we're going to map directly to this ETH. Okay, so here we have in the small letters, so we need to change it to the capital letters. And which function we use for the capital letters, do you have any idea?
Sorry, which function?
Yeah, which function do you use for changing like small letter to capital letters?
Uppercase.
Yeah. Yes. Case off. So we're gonna use strip function in case if you have any spaces blanks. So those one it can be. So copy this variable and map it. Okay. Okay. So here there is a difference between ethnic and race. Okay. So what is the difference between ethnic and race? So the race, if you have like single value, like for example, the race usually the differentiate with the skin, hair. Yeah, wait on here. Race and ethnicity. They will ask in the question what is the difference between these two. Okay, so basically you see the differences in skin or hair, like in the physical features, maybe the facial body. Okay, so if you have these kind of features differences, we consider as a race. Okay, so for example, maybe Asian, African, American, Hispanic. Okay, for ethnicity, usually is in the difference in the differences in the language, okay. The religion, customs, tradition. So they divided like this: food. Okay. So for example, yeah, I can say like European, or maybe New Zealand. So like indigenous people, maybe Chinese. Okay. So it depends on the religion, customs, and foods, and the traditions. So there is a difference between these two. Okay. So our value, we have it in Asian. Okay. So we consider as a race, but usually they will give you in the specification which one we have to consider. Right now here it is pop up the race only. Okay, so the ethnicity is a permissible variable. Okay, so but race is expected variables and ethnic is a permissible variable. So obviously, if we don't have this information, we don't need to include. And the expected variables, we should have to be included even if we have a missing values. So the race, we have the information for that one. So we consider this ETH to the map. Okay. Okay, so the next one. Okay, the next one would be the sex variable. Okay, this one is as per CT, control terminology. Okay, in the raw data set, we have directly that there is a variable called gen. Okay, let me check in the CRF. This is not the right one. One second. Document. I'm not sure where did I keep this one. I just gonna use the whatever it is. But since this is not mapped with the SDTM variable, that's why it's not showing the sex variable here. So I just take it this one. So we have two values here, male and female. So we need to convert as per the control terminology. Okay. Okay, here is a control terminology. Okay. So if you have these reported values, you should have in the single letters. If it is female, it should be like F. If it is male, you should have to report it as a M. Okay. That is a control terminology saying, so we have to record like that. Like this. You can use a if then else statement, which is easier. I prefer to use the proc SQL in this case because in SAS programming, either you can use data step or you can use proc SQL. It's up to you. You have a choice. But if you use the proc SQL, it is good because your program looks more professional, like the more professional way. Because if you write more kind of data step, it's still acceptable. But sometimes what happens, some programmer they write in proc SQL. If you don't know the proc SQL, it is hard for you to understand. So I prefer to write every time to in different ways, so that you are more technically good. Okay. So I'm gonna write in the proc SQL way. Proc SQL. So the no print we don't want because the proc SQL by default it prints. So we're gonna give the option like no print. Okay. So this one is DM1. I'm going to create one more table. Create table DM2. So as select. So we're gonna select for all. Okay, so in if then else statement we can use in a data step. And what is the conditional statement we use in PocketSQL? Do you know anyone else? I mean, do you know anything about that one? Bala, you know it, right? SQL.
Conditional statements.
Yeah, in the SQL, what do you use the conditional statement?
If statements.
That is in data step. You can use in data step like here, if then. But in the SQL, there is another one.
Where class.
Where is used for what? is a conditional statement or is a filter?
Filter.
Okay. Okay. So do you know anything about case when? So case when uppercase of then this is in the character format, and also we have to convert into the capital letters, right? This is in capital letters because our raw data, it is in the small letters. We need to convert. That's why I'm giving the uppercase of the variable. Okay. So in operator we use, so we take like for example anyone. So I take as like alphabetical order. So I take F initially, female, then so we represent as F. Okay. So when uppercase of, just copy this one. So you take this value. Okay. So else, you should keep it as missing if you don't have that one. Okay, and as sex variable. So from DM1. Okay. Do you understand, Maradi, this step?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically we're creating instead of if then else statements, we're creating like in the SQL case when. Okay. So it works similar like if then else statement. You can use in the similar like in here like that, but I use something not different. So I run this one first. Okay, it's total 48 observations and 37 variables. Okay. So I gotta run this one too. Okay, 38 columns. Why 38 columns? Oh, okay, so because we are creating the new variable, so obviously it's going to be one more extra. Okay, so the 6 variable should be on the last. Oh, why is everything is missing here? That is the
Because after select, we did not mention, right? There.
which one?
After
After this one?
that's right.
No, there is no semicolon for the
Yeah,
SQL.
yeah.
The SQL should be always in the end. So okay, let's check.
Actually,
So the first of all, the DM1, do you have a gen here? Yes, we have gen there. Okay, close this one. Box create table DM2, which is this one. Oh, so DM1. Oh yeah, DM1 is okay. DM2 is select case from. Should become. Oops.
X is not populating, right?
Yeah, so the variables are finishing. So the variables are not, I mean, the 6 variable values are not coming inside. So I'm just checking. There is no error here. That's why I don't understand why.
See that maybe the value is not getting match. Upcase of gen in female, that is not in upcase.
No, I think female F and M are those capital letters or small letters.
No, remove that upcase and you can execute, then it will work.
Yeah, maybe.
Remove that function.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason, because we mentioned the small letters here. If it is upcase of, yeah, you're right. So instead, what you can do, upcase of, just do like that. So if you keep capital letters here, then it's gonna work like that. Yeah, if you do like this, it's gonna work. I mean, I took the directly from the raw data. So yeah. So yeah, you're right. The upcase function is creating the issue. So okay, anyway, so that's good. So the next variable we have completed up to 6 variable. One second. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we have finished these ones, and we're going to continue with this up to here for the for the data set from the exposure. Okay, because you can see from the label, this is related to the treatment, study treatment, and here also the arm. Arm means in the clinical terminology, we call as for the treatment we call as arm in clinical terminology. Okay, so the arm means treatment. Okay, so actual arm, planned arm. So we need to derive these 4 variables and these 2. Okay, so we can extract from the data from the raw data set. Okay, so comment extract data from exposure. Data ex1 raw dot this one. So here you can see we have a visit variable, which is the 2 periods. So as you're aware, this project is about like we will have only 2 periods, period 1 and period 2, which means the subject will come two times, okay, 2 visits. So we have a treatment here, and also the what is the what is the route of administration, which is in oral format, and how much the frequency, how many times they given the drug, okay, that is in, and the fasting condition. So we have a dose here. So we need this information, the treatment, and the treatment start date and treatment start time, okay. Okay, so the exposure, okay. If you want, like after finishing this one, this EX1, we need to merge with the DM1, okay. I mean, sorry, DM2, which is the final one, okay. DM2 we have to merge it. So for that reason, we need some common variables. So we need to get some common variables. So for that, I just gonna derive again these 4 variables, okay. Because we need a unique subject ID to combine, to merge. Okay, so for merging, we need a common variables. So for that, you need unique subject ID. And for this one, we need study ID, site ID, subject ID. So the basically in this, okay, where is this? So in this raw data set, we already have study ID, subject ID, and the site. Okay, so we're taking it's the same thing as in demo.raw. So we have the same thing. So I just copy it from here. So here in the RF STDTC, which is the date and time of the first study treatment, okay, and the RF EXENDTC is the last study treatment. So what is the difference between these two? Like for example, in this project, the patient comes 2 times, period 1 and period 2. So the period 1 will be considered as a RFX STDTC, and the period 2 will be considered as a RFX ENDTC. So this is because since we have only 2 periods. So some project we will be, the trials will be like 3 or 4 multiple treatments. On that time, what happened? The subject will be discontinued in like 1 or 2 treatments only. So for that reason, whatever the first treatment, RFX TDTC, that is the date. And if it is a second, like if the patient is discontinued after like 1 or 2 treatment, even though he has more treatment, but he discontinued after 2 treatments. So that is the last date for that particular subject. Okay. Just to be note, because the period 1 will be considered as RFX TDTC, and period 2, which is the last period, last treatment, that will be considered as RFX ENDTC. I hope you understand, right? It's confusing, but I'll like, okay, 1 second, I'll write down for you. Okay. If subject of first period of treatment, the date is this one, RFX STDTC. Okay. Whereas if subject is finished second, for example, if you have multiple, like more than 2, third period of treatments, and that is last treatment, whatever the last treatment, that would be the last date of the particular subject. Okay, it is that you understand, right? If it's not, if you don't understand, I'll explain you. I will send you the notes for this one too. So whatever the first period, whatever the taking the first drug period, that is RFX-TDC, and whatever the end of the period for the particular subject, that is RFX. Just to be simple like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we have two visits here, period 1 and period 2, so I'm going to derive first with RFX-TDC. So I need to make it filter. Okay, the filter, how do you make the filter? If visit equal to, I think it's this one, if visit equal to period 1, so that we can get everything related to the period 1. Okay, and okay, so we don't have any information, and these two are expected variables, and we need to use the control terminology IS8601 format. Okay, because all the data should be has to be in the 8601 format, and this is in a character format. Yesterday I opened one thing, but I could not find it. Okay, so let's check. So we're gonna go to the exposure data, exposure website. Okay, so the exposure, this information, we have a DSDT, which is the start date, and this is the start time. Okay, and don't worry, in the real time, you will have all the information here there only. So the specification, we don't have that information. That's why every time I'm checking the CRF. Okay, so they will provide which value, which variables you have to pick up for these two variables. Okay, so the RFX-TDC. So we need DSDT. This is in character format, okay, and the date format will be like MMDD YY format, okay. So, but we need it in the ISO 8601 format. For that reason, we need to convert this one to the numeric format, okay. So because as per the control terminology, we need to get ISO 8601 format, okay. So which is YY MMDD format. So we need that one. So if we have your is already in the character, but the format is not good. So we don't want this format. We want it in the IS 8601 format. So for that reason, we need to convert first to the numeric. Okay. So how do you convert the numeric?
Input.
Yeah, we're gonna use input function, input of. I put numeric because we are going to convert into numeric. Okay. And don't worry about all the extra variables. We're gonna drop at the end. For now, we just leave it as it is. So at the end, we need whatever the variables we need as per the implementation guideline. We're gonna keep those only. So whatever we're creating the extra variables, we're not going to keep that one at the end. Okay. So this is in which format? Okay, here is just mentioned. So MMDD YY format. Okay, so I'm gonna convert that.
And
So initially we are converting into the numeric format, okay? Then we can convert to the character. So we got here RFX SDTC, and we're going to use the put function, okay? Because this is the value which is in the numeric. That be IS 601. And the same as it is, like how we did for these variables, similar like that, the same thing. And we have, so obviously for the time we don't do anything, so we're gonna take it as it is. Okay, so function. You understand? So like that, we can keep required variables. Okay, from this variable, and we're going to create this variable, which is the treatment variable. So we're gonna need it for actual related information. So we needed this one. So we can keep it as it is for now. So the same like this, we're going to create RFX EMDDC. So now what are you going to keep it? We're going to keep it as
period 2.
Yes, period 2. So we're going to keep it like that. Visit equal to 2. Okay. So we're going to keep as it is. Then, so we're going to keep treatment 1. I just create one new variable because we already have one here, so we don't get any kind of conflict between these two same variables. So we're going to keep it as one more. Okay, you understand, right? So I just change this word. Okay, so there are no errors. Yes. So this is RFX SDTC. So YYMMDD format.